So what would you say is the next step on your healing journey to continue to grow and develop and to love yourself more and to heal old wounds and those types of things?
I would say that my next step is just continuing to be consistent in what I'm doing. Um, it seems like it's always been a cycle, you know, of doing better and then regressing and doing better and then regressing. So just being completely committed and sold out and being open to change, learning, growing, That's why I'm constantly always pouring into myself, going to conferences, getting refilled, learning more so that I can heal more. The more you learn, the better you are.
Yeah.
And I think, too, that healing also takes place the more you talk about what you've done and where you've come from. And with me helping women and other women, it actually helps me to continue to heal.
In your mentorship process or
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, today, for instance, I shared a little bit of my testimony at the Flow Brunch. And um, a lady came to me afterwards and she was in tears. And she said, "Thank you for sharing." And she says, "I want to be able to talk about my past the way you did." She said, I'm healing, but I'm not there. She said, the last time somebody shared our similar testimony, um, I had to get up and leave. I couldn't even stay in the building. She said, "So I just want to thank you." And I told her, "You need my book." And she said, "What's it about?" And I said, "The journey to finding my worth," which kind of relates to even our conversation today. I didn't know or value who I was. Um, and she was like, "How much is it?" And I told her, and I said, "But if you don't have it, I'm going to sow it into you today." And so I gave her that book, and I hope that it brings healing.
yeah, that's good. You you mentioned at the brunch and you mentioned earlier in your testimony that you dealt with sexual assault, molestation, rape. Are you comfortable sharing a little bit about that process and that testimony and what that looked like for you?
Yeah. It's finally something that I can talk about and not cry. um, as a young child, I don't know how far back you want me to go, or
Whatever you want to share.
the first time it was a babysitter. I had a male babysitter, and um, that was the first time I was molested, and it was a continuous thing. He threatened, the life of my mom and my parents and what he would do, so I wouldn't tell anybody what happened. And so I held it in for years, and it went from that to another family relationship, a couple of family relationships, whether it was touching or fondling or just lustful looks or lustful comments, um, to a very long, drawn out sexual abusive relationship, which I was able to forgive and heal and move on, from.
So, and we joke about it now. Would you say that's one of the reasons why you used to buy me clothes that was two sizes too big?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't want men looking at your body. Um, as a young girl, I had a body, and you had a body. You say you were skinny. You were skinny, but you had curves. You had hips. You had behind. And I didn't want men looking at you. Um, I never wanted anybody to violate my girls. I'm a little bit less hard on the other two, but I'm still very hard on them, even when it comes to what they're wearing. And they don't understand now, but I know that one day that they will. Um, so yeah, I didn't want people looking at you because I didn't want you to give them a reason to lust after you or to touch you, because really and truly and honestly, I probably had a place in my heart that wasn't healed. I know I did. Even when I first got married, having intercourse with my husband was hard. because this was something that had been taken my entire life by people who really didn't love me or who didn't know how to love me. And I finally had this man who loved me. So I felt like, why do you want this too? Like, I just, at one point in my life, I wanted that to just like go away. Like, I don't ever have to have this
You're
again.
gonna be celibate. Married and celibate.
Yeah. I didn't have to ever have that again. Now, of course, now I enjoy it, but that comes from healing. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I did not want you to experience that. I mean, I don't know if you remember when you were young, I would always ask you and question you, has anybody